In my last video, I beat LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4 without jumping, and I got a few comments asking for years 5 through 7 next. Initially, I was worried as I'm not nearly as familiar with 5 through 7, only having played it a handful of times. I'll be honest, I tried this challenge months ago, but I was immediately stumped by these LEGO blocks on the first level, as I needed to jump on them to reach the next stage, so I kinda just gave up. But after watching a few speedruns, shout out to these three guys, I saw how easy it was to completely break open this game. So I loaded up the game with one question on my mind. Can you beat LEGO Harry Potter without jumping? Part 2. So I began the first level. To beat this first stage, I needed to place the yellow block first, then drop the green block in front and the red on top. Then if I placed player 2 on one side, ran away, and then swapped to him, he would jump on the red block. Then I can swap back, run away, and Harry jumped right up. The rest of the level was played casually, and then we arrive at Hogwarts and get half our spells taken away. But that wasn't a problem because once we collected enough coins, we could head back to Diagon Alley, head into the rundown Wizard Wheez's shop, and unlock Glacius. I'll let someone much more qualified explain why we need this specific spell.
So every time you freeze your character with the other player, so for example if Plexo plays player 2 and he freezes him, your character starts to shake rapidly, and for whatever reason that ignores collision and you can just clip through the wall. I think you're gonna see it here. And we're through the wall.
Most runners use this tech to completely sequence break the game, skipping entire years at Hogwarts. Although I'm going to try to beat the game with the least amount of years skipped as I can, only using freeze clips to progress in levels and not actually skip entire years. If I do end up needing a big sequence break, I want it to be absolutely necessary. For now, we'll prepare to meet Luna in the forest, but there was a problem. You see, if we play this level normally, we feed the first Thestral, fall onto this boulder, but then there's nowhere to go from here. I was hoping that Luna would jump to the next boulder when I fell in the mud, but the NPC just stood there. Hypothetically, if we were to jump across and then fall in the mud backwards, the NPC does perform a jump across, which can be done both times actually. But that doesn't help. It's not like we can complete this lesson in reverse.
You can actually complete this lesson in reverse. If you do a freeze clip, the lesson still spawns, but you do it in reverse.
Okay, so thanks to Captain Paxo, I began my first freeze clip of the run, pushing Hermione into Hagrid's hut and then having her run to Luna and carefully entering the level from behind, beginning us at the end of the lesson. I'll now have live Froggu explain this whole leaf jumping business.
Okay, so I think with enough momentum, yeah, we can just run on here as Luna, and if we put her on the very sort of edge of this flower, I can run over here with Harry, and she'll jump on her own up there. That was actually really good timing. And then if I kind of go off the leaf, Harry will follow, and then I think what I have to do is just run across this, and then Harry will be there. I think I can just run across this. It's a little slippery, but I think I can. Oh, Harry, okay, it's fine. This one I think I can just run onto. Yep. Yeah, this part's so sketchy because it's like a late drop in. So I fall down, Luna jumps, and boom. Okay, we're up.
After that, I ran on top of this boulder, and like I said earlier, we were able to make it across this mud with a couple of drop-ins and NPC jumps. After that, we fed the Thestral and ended the lesson. The rest of the year is played casually, apart from this Dementor that we needed to pump up, but NPC Hermione jumped on the pump, and with some back and forth movements, we were able to unlock the spell, leading us to the final level.
Okay, so this level initially caused me some pain, because we need to be able to get up there to grab the spider that's on that spider web. But no matter how many like drop-ins I try, no matter what, like it just would never work. I tried this one for like an hour. Harry's like stuck midair and he doesn't want to jump onto this cart.
So instead, I performed a freeze clip near the load zone, which was actually really easy to pull off.
There we go. Now we can run across to the other side. There we go.
We then defeated Voldemort and moved on to the Half-Blood Prince. Our first challenge was Aguamenti, where we needed to make our way onto these water stairs. This took me a while, as you can hear by my excitement.
Oh my gosh. Let's go. Okay, let me try to do that in one try. So we put Harry with the books in this corner here and then have him jump up. Then if he runs along this sort of glass here, we stuff him in the corner. He jumps up. And I don't think he needs to be on this higher platform. I think he needs to be on the one directly below. And then once Hermione jumps up, which she should, might have to move her over here for her to actually jump up. Ooh. Okay. Kind of character just like mashing once they're on that second stair there. Okay, how am I going to get this key down? I think if I just... Oh. Well... Okay. I think if I push Hermione in a corner long enough, she should jump. Okay, there we go. Can we grab this? Maybe have her on this platform? Then onto these books? This key might be stuck. Wait, hold on. If I run in this corner as Harry, if I run away... Oh my... Okay, problem solved. We're fine.
Apart from these 2 freeze clips that I kind of just did for fun to beat this level, and this part in 6-5.
Ah, interesting. Oh. Swap to her. Okay, never mind. I don't know why I thought that'd be a challenge.
We defeated Snape and then moved on to the Deathly Hallows. Apart from some more freeze clips that also probably weren't necessary, this year was going incredibly smoothly. Really only using a bit of drop-in tech to get Harry on this leaf, and then doing a perfectly timed run off of it to get onto the higher platform. Deathly Hallows was going great until we reached our downfall. The beginning of the level was simple, but the major problem lied in the tale of the 3 brothers. Let me break this level down. We need to jump once to reach this boulder. Using some drop-in tech we can avoid 2 more unnecessary jumps, but it doesn't really matter because we need to jump onto this leaf and then build this mushroom and jump onto it. Then we need to jump onto this fallen tree, which doesn't lean high enough to this ledge, so we need to jump once again. We then jump on this boat where we receive these boxes to jump on. We can avoid jumping if we drown because we'll spawn on the box ahead of us, but the same couldn't be done to get to the dock, so with that final jump, we finished this sequence with a total of 7 jumps. And although I too wanted to greet death as an old friend, I didn't want to give up this challenge just yet. So I returned to the tent and opened the Marauders map, allowing us to be in Hogwarts as Seamus, Neville, and Ginny. I then tried to freeze clip my way through any load zone I could find, but I had no luck. That was until I came across this gate on the edge of the Forbidden Forest, and once Neville was through, I was presented with this loading screen. For context, this is the loading screen for Order of the Phoenix. This is the loading screen for Half-Blood Prince. This one is for Deathly Hallows Part 1, the year I was just on, and this is the loading screen for Deathly Hallows Part 2. Meaning that we completely skipped the last 2 levels of Year 7, allowing us to completely skip the 3 brothers. I returned to Diagon Alley, left the leaky cauldron, and poor Lego Dobby had died off screen, allowing us to begin 8-1. In Bellatrix's vault, I needed to jump to grab the final goblet, but this could be avoided by using a freeze clip back through the entrance, allowing us to finish the level and escape on the dragon. We defeat the Caro twins back at Hogwarts, and then start placing dynamite as Seamus and Neville. Prepare yourself for another tedious level. We need to run onto this railing, and then water the flowers, and then we need to run onto the first flower, bouncing our way across to the other end.
Okay, so for this part we need to figure out how to get to the other side so we can get that dynamite there in the corner. Obviously there's a bunch of platforms that we need to jump on, so we need to avoid that. If we come up here and then use the fire to get rid of these vines, I think we can run on the swinging platform, and with good timing we can make it there like this. Break the web and then put the dynamite down. And then it has to be Seamus down here so that we can swap back to Neville. He can go on the swinging platform. Poor Seamus is going to be stuck down there now, but that's okay. The reason we need Neville here is because this is supposed to be like a bouncy spiderweb that we get by using Diffindo on this wall, which we would obviously have to jump on. But if we come up here and we pull out Trevor the Toad and put him in this corner, Neville will actually just jump up on his own. We can then break this chest and then put in the dynamite there. And then after we build these stairs and get rid of this fire, all we need to do is dig right here and place this last bit of dynamite, and we finish the level.
Well, actually not yet. We still have one freeze clip into the Chamber of Secrets, and then we can finish the level. Moving on to 8-4, the hardest level in this whole challenge. Starting off with a little tech to get Ron on this shield. And then we begin our most difficult sequence yet.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can explain this sequence. So I think Harry needs to be on this lower cabinet here. Swap to someone like Ron and then run away. Harry will jump like that. There we go. And then the other two should jump across. Okay, this next one, I think if you just go in the corner here and then fall in with one of the NPCs really close to the edge. There we go. Okay. I just had to keep running into the fire and then eventually Hermione jumped over. Next, we'll lift these two across. And then on this one, if you put the NPC close enough to the edge and then go to push them, they'll jump like that, which should let us jump across just like that. This one, if we get rid of those flames and then just run across the gap, we can make it. After breaking that, we can build these stairs. Now, I found that this only works if the third NPC runs back across to the other side, and then we keep Ron or someone here, run to the corner, run to that corner, and then you can see off screen Ron jumped up here. If we swap back to Harry and then run this way, Ron should jump up there. So for this next gap, we'll take Ron and then we'll run him up against this cabinet, and then you'll see he just runs up on his own there onto the other platform. So this last and final gap was the hardest that I had to figure out. So what we need to do for this part is have one of our characters run onto this Lego couch, then swap to someone else, and you'll see that when he jumps on this couch, he gets some height, and it's just a matter of getting the timing until he can jump high enough. The reason we want him to jump high enough is so that he can get onto this right here. Oh, I did it. Okay, you'll see Ron is also on the other side here, so we can use Defendo on this cabinet. And then we build a ladder. And I'll show you the reason why we can't just climb up, and it's because we need to press A to jump off the ladder so that we can get up to that little platform where Harry's standing. But because Harry's already standing up there, we should just be able to run up, and then that's the end of that sequence.
After that difficult challenge, we defeat the troll and build these platforms, then running in a circle until NPC Ron decides to jump up. Then with 2 quick swaps we can reach the top. Retrieving Snape's tears, we then move on to the final level. We begin in this courtyard, and after we beat this sequence we spawn as Kingsley and Molly. The only problem is once we build this bridge, Molly doesn't want to jump onto the ledge. So I restarted the level and returned to the courtyard, where we then used my favorite tech yet, freeze launching. I ended up sending Neville flying in the air after attempting to perform a normal freeze clip. I think freeze launches are fairly RNG, I'm not really sure how they are actually done consistently, but once we landed, we could then repeat the same step with Hermione, and once they were both there, we could use one final freeze clip, dying with Neville and respawning in this rubble. After a bit of searching blindly around this wall, we find the load zone, and we finally do it. Voldemort had been defeated, the Elder Wand snapped in half, and my question was answered. Can you beat Lego Harry Potter without jumping? Yep,